All right, what's up, guys? All right, so obviously we had a lot of unrest in this country due to the unjust killing of Mr. George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Shout out to Breonna Taylor. Today was her birthday, so we want to honor her, and also we want to honor Ahmaud Arbery. So, I want to make this video, and I just wanted to do this as quickly as I could, and I didn't want to make a super long post that you wouldn't look at. And before I get started, I want to say this. One, I don't identify as left or right. I identify as a child of God. So let's get that straight, because a lot of times people want to misconstrue the message of the Black Lives Matter movement. They want to say, oh, it's a very leftist, it's a terrorist organization. They want to put all that rhetoric to attach to the name of Black Lives Matter. So let's just dismantle that right now. All right, so what I really wanted to get into, is a couple of things. And the last little point before I make my other points is I just want to give a shout out to all of my non-black friends who are doing great stuff, white, Latino, Asian, out there protesting. It made me so proud to be out there in downtown Atlanta the other day, protesting beside people, having conversations, just creating bridges. And so that's what it's all about. All right, so now there's two extremes. One extreme that we face is, as black people, we have grown resentful. We have grown angry, rightfully so, but we have grown angry, and sometimes it can be too extreme to the point where we almost kind of fester hate in our hearts, and that's not right. About white privilege. White privilege, well, privilege is just neutral. It's about how one uses it that defines whether they're a good person or a bad person. That defines their character. How one uses privilege. And so I want to address that because, we have to encourage our fellow white brothers and sisters out there to use their platforms, speak out, and act, because that's what it's all about. Because at the end of the day, we don't want the white pity where they feel bad for us in the black community. Oh, that's a tragedy. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh man. But we want, we appreciate the sympathy, but we want action. We want you to come out and protest. We want you to petition. We want you to make sure that you are using your voice, which is going to be heard more so than ours, amongst your fellow white Americans. So, as they say in psychology and in sociology, people tend to listen to and, give credit and credibility to those who look like them. So, that's why us as black people, yes, we've been preaching this message over and over, and sometimes it can get a little tiring to be the teacher, but that's why I really want to strongly encourage my white friends out there. I know we got helicopters and a bunch of stuff going on around here, but I just really want to implore my white brothers and sisters out there to really just use your platforms, use your voices, speak out, stop being silent. Silence is violence. Silence is violence. Please do not be silent, guys. I'm going to try to remain calm. This is a very, touchy subject, and that's why I wanted to wait a few days to speak on this from the heart, and use my voice rather than through text, which can be, misconstrued, twisted. So I want you to see my emotions. I want you to see my face, but I want to remain calm at the same time. So that's the point. We don't, like I said, no, we don't want the white guilt. We want your action. We want you to help us out. Use your voice. We want to leverage that privilege into using it to help us, for people who may not have the privilege. All right. So now on the other side, we have, this, we have a lot of things going on, and we talked about, the anger against white privilege. Now we're going to talk about the other extremity that we face in this society, and that is the silence. Like I said before, silence is violence, guys, and we have to speak out. We have to talk about things. See, here's the thing. I've noticed something, that there's a lot of people who are very silent when it came to George Floyd's death and his wrongful killing. But when it came to the protesters, it's like those people went from being very silent to very loud and boisterous about how people should protest and why they should do it this way or that way. And I'm just like, no. You don't get to join the conversation now. It's too late. You should have joined when I can respect people who were equally as vocal about how the looting and the burning was wrong. And again, I don't condemn that. I do not condemn that. And but I do understand. And so I just want to say, for those of you who have been very silent about the protest and how people should protest, no. You get to be silent now, because you don't get to just join this conversation when you were silent about the unjust killing of George Floyd. So be consistent. If you want to be silent then, you need to be silent now. So I just want to get that squared away, because a lot of times people are addressing symptoms. When it comes to sicknesses, when it comes to cancer or anything like that, we can't just address the symptoms, guys. We have to address the root cause. And a lot of you may not agree with this, but I'm about to say it anyways. It's the S word: systematic racism. That's what we're facing. That is the root cause. People protesting, that's inevitable, because that's a symptom of a deeper rooted cause. And so the thing is, truth is, it's unpalatable. People don't want to digest it. People don't want to take it because it's uncomfortable. It makes them feel weird, and it just takes away from the daily normal life, the status quo. We're here to break the status quo, because some people have been saying that the system has been working, but it ain't working for everybody. It's only working for certain people. Our white brothers and sisters. It's been working for you guys, but it has not been working for us. I'll tell you that right now. And so, in addition to what I just said about the other side of the argument, the other extremity, and going through life, I've had to, as a black man, I've had to come to understand the difference between people who are ignorant and people who are evil. And so it's a very fine line. But there are people out there that I've encountered that are, my friends or people I would consider my family, and they are ignorant. They just don't know. They weren't educated about these things. And so I've had to educate people about, different phrases like, I don't see color. That's one big one. What we've all seen and heard all the time. God makes no mistakes. Just as he created the tree, and the leaves on the tree is green, the bark brown, and the sky blue, he didn't make any mistakes when it came to creating his people different colors. I'll tell you that. God doesn't make any mistakes, especially for those of you who believe in him. He don't make any mistakes. All right, so let's get that clear. And another phrase that I hear and it makes me cringe is all lives matter. That sounds really good, but the thing is, all lives matter don't really matter until Black Lives Matter. And the reason why it's not, I want to bring that up is because a lot of, like I said before, people want to associate Black Lives Matter with liberal, leftist stuff and terrorist organizations, all these labels that people have placed on it, which are false narratives. And so the thing is, this is about human rights. It's not about left or right. It's about human rights. And so that's what I want to also, kind of talk about too, because, it's like, imagine if you have a house, you're living in your house, right? You are living on a street where there's 9 other houses. So it's 10 of you guys on one street. Your house is burning. You have the firefighters, you have all the authorities coming to your house, and they are, focusing their attention on your house, which is the one that's burning for the moment. And imagine if your neighbors came out and they said, all houses matter, all houses matter. Now you would look at them and like, wait a minute, are you like my neighbor that actually cares about me? Or are you just saying that just to be saying that? Because unless you bring in a bucket of water while you say all lives matter, that don't really matter to me. Like that phrase, it helps me not. It does nothing for me. And so it's actually insulting, you know? Because it's like, you see that my house is burning, yet you're saying all houses matter, and not doing anything to support that. Because a lot of times, you know, people may counter argue and say, oh, well, you know, like we really truly mean that. Like, but the thing is, like, the people who I've been hearing say that have not backed up that, you know, that thought. Let's play devil's advocate, all right? Let's play devil's advocate. They have not backed up that thought or that saying with action. I have never seen anybody who says that at a peaceful protest. I have never seen anybody like that who has been vocal about when it comes to the injustice and the killings of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor. I have yet to see those people. And so maybe if you're out there, please, I would love to chat with you. I would love to have a dialogue with you. That would be great. But I have yet to see those people. And so all lives matter just makes me cringe. So, you know, when it comes to, like, as I conclude, you know, there's a lot of friends and a lot of people who have been reaching out to me. Hey, Andre, what can I do? What can I do? You know, I feel so bad. I really, you know, I'm praying for you, but I want to take action. I want to do something. You know, there's a couple of things you can do. You can, you know, take the time to listen to different people and their experiences. Please do not try to politicize people's pain. Please do not try to ignore them, because, you know, a lot of times growing up, I would have these discussions and people would be like, oh, no, they're just dismissing. Oh, no, oh, you're just pulling the race card. Oh, no, you're just trying to bring race into the picture. Like, it would be so frustrating, because when you're going through pain and it's like that pain, it triples whenever somebody ignores you. Somebody who you call a friend, they want to make light of it and make it seem like you're just making this up. You're delusional. Because a lot of people have been trying to gaslight us, saying that systematic racism doesn't exist. No way. But it does, guys. And I have, many people have been a victim of it. Do I let that bring me down? Do I let that stop me from starting a business? Do I let that stop me from being the best person I can be and getting an education? No, I don't. But at the same time, it does exist, guys. And we have to acknowledge the root of the cancer. So let's stop focusing on the symptoms. And so that's what's gotten me really charged up and really fired up, because I'm just so tired of seeing the same old cycle, the same old, you know, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, all these guys, Sandra Bland. Like, it's the same old. Like, we try to be peaceful. Colin tried to take a knee peacefully. You complained about that and said it was disrespect out of the flag, about the flag. But no, it's not about that. Even Drew Brees, you know, rescind his comments and realized that after discussions that it wasn't ever about disrespecting the flag. The peaceful protest that has been going on before the rioting and all the other stuff has been going on. It's like, no matter what is criticized, it's like when we discuss that, there's criticism about the how. When we're not peaceful, there's discussion about the how, but not about the why. So let's focus on the why, guys. So again, let me circle back to what I was saying. For my white family, my brothers and sisters out there who have been asking, what can I do? Please, like I said, stop using those phrases, all lives matter, and please stop spreading ignorance. Please educate yourselves, and please have those discussions with your kids, your grandkids, because it all starts in the home. Because again, us black people, we are tired of always having to teach people every single thing about us. And so, we live in a day and age where, like, all the questions that you can have conversations, but you can also, like, research documentaries. You can look up different studies. The one study I will recommend to you guys is the brown eye, blue eye study. That was an amazing study that was done in Iowa by a teacher in, I believe, it was like an elementary school, right after Dr. King was assassinated. That's an eye opener right there. Check that out for sure. And let's see, you know, taking action, that includes petitioning. You can go out and peacefully protest. Emphasis on peacefully. And so, like I said, dialogue is so important. Some of you may not feel as comfortable to voice your opinions on social media, and that's fine, because your action means more than a social media post. Because there's some people who are posting on social media that are not doing a single thing to help us. They're and you gotta, because like conversations change minds more than a donation does, more than any words on Twitter. Conversations, like, the way to destroy racism is contact, because a lot of times people realize that, you know, wow, we have some things in common. We laugh at the same things, or we like the same movies, or like we have a lot more in common than we thought. Like, I experienced this when I went to college, and so I want to encourage everybody to take this time to listen. Stop trying to rebut every single thing that we say, because that is so annoying. Like I said, it's already hurtful to have pain as a black man, but it's triple the pain whenever you have somebody that wants to rebut every single thing. They're like, yeah, but I like, please stop that. This is not the time. This is the time to listen, because we've gone through this so many times where we try to do peaceful, we try to take a knee, we try to do peacefully, and it just doesn't work, because it falls on deaf ears. So that's why it's up to you, our white brothers and sisters, for you to educate your own, for you to educate your families, and let them know. Some of I want to commend my friends out there who have had disagreements. You know, they've gone unprotested, and they've had some backlash from their own families, and I just want to say, you know, keep doing what you're doing, because they will see that you're standing on the right side of history. Just as the NFL is now seeing that Colin Kaepernick stood on the right side of history. It took them 4 years to figure that out. So now that like I said, I promise I'm wrapping this up. As we look back, this will be a year that's marked in history forever. It's going to be in the history books. I guarantee it. 2020, we're going to look back. And the question is, what did you do to help when you had the opportunity? Did you sit there and, you know, in silence, allowing the violence to continue? Or did you step up? Did you realize that, okay, I can turn my guilt into action to help the black community? Not just pray for them, not just, and prayer is very important. Let me get that. I'm a Christian man. I'm a God-fearing man. Prayer is very important, but we also need actions. Because I'll be honest, I've been so saddened by this. I've been so sickened by this. I was depressed for a couple of days. I couldn't even pray for myself. That's how bad it was. I honestly need to go to counseling, because I get PTSD every single time a police officer shows up and I get pulled over for license, and I got to pull up my license registration. I already have it in my hand because I'm so paranoid that if I pull out my license registration, they might think my wallet is a gun. So I don't want to do that. So I get paranoid. I need to go to counseling. But all that to say, guys, just please listen. Stop trying to rebut. Listen. Sign petitions. And it's all about the change of heart. Because that's where it starts. So, again, I want to say this all in love. I want to say all this in respect. This is not hateful rhetoric that I want to spew out. That is not what I'm trying to do. I want to educate, because sometimes real love is showing and correcting what is wrong, and maybe it's not comfortable, but it is what it is. So thank you guys for listening. If you have listened to this up into this point, and you know, I love you guys, and keep doing what you're doing. Fight for justice, and have those conversations, those tough conversations. Build bridges, don't build walls. Thank you, and have a good night.